Well, good morning, humanity. It is August 15th, 2022, and it's the favorite time of our week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody, my name's Paul.
Oh, good morning, Paul. Good morning, everyone. This is Bev.
And it's the favorite time of my month because Bev is here.
Right here in person. Yay.
Oh, hey everybody. We've been having some technical difficulties a little bit, so please let us know if you can hear us. I think you can, but we'll just keep going anyhow because it's taping. So we're going to talk about BioTouch is the light, right?
Ooh,
yeah.
How dare we say
It is,
that?
I know. So I got inspired by a quote I read, and I'll read it here. The illumination from an oil lamp lights a room instantly, even if it has been in the dark for eons. I love it.
I know.
I love it.
I mean, when you think about it, yeah. Indeed. Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like, well, that's BioTouch. BioTouch brings the light to our dark room. And so let's talk about how can that be? What do we mean when we say that, the light? You know, what is it to bring the light into the darkness?
Yeah. So light, is a word that we all can understand. It's the other half of the polarity, darkness, light. You need both of them to really, on this level of experience anyway. But when we talk about light in conjunction with a BioTouch, we're talking about that consciousness or that self-awareness that happens. And when you talk about that dark room, well, how many years have we all been in ignorance and in darkness about our bodies? The power. I just was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I said to them, we have forgotten in that darkness and without the light, that self-awareness, we have forgotten how incredibly powerful our bodies are. That's been hidden, right? Below the surface. When you start practicing BioTouch and that light begins to, or that self-awareness begins to shine into that dark room, what happens? Ooh, as we say, see these things start scurrying out of the corners, right?
And it's funny because you even just had the experience. You worked with someone, and they called you up and go, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I feel terrible. What did you do to me?"
And I said, "Yay!" She goes, "Huh?" Like, no, remember, BioTouch begins an undoing process.
Right.
We say it right there in our orientation. She says, "But guess what? I feel better today." And I said, I think the thing that was really cool, she says, "So what do you think? What should I do next? Should I have more BioTouch? When should I do it?" And I said, I don't know. That's our favorite thing to say, right?
We love it.
I said, I don't know. This is about, again, now that a little bit of light has shone into that room for her, she gets to see into that room what is going on and make her own decisions, take responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you and I were talking about, what happens in the light.
And I think in that responsibility, it comes, what I see happens with BioTouch is it brings, as we've talked about it often too, hope. And when you have hope, you can take responsibility because you trust. BioTouch helps us trust what we know to be right for ourselves.
Yes.
And you can't get any more light on ourselves than that.
Oh my goodness, no. And I think this is why BioTouch is really so incredibly important. Especially now with everything cracking open, as we said last week, everything's cracking open, because it's a time now for us to snap out of our old patterns, like Ottomans, just like this guy says you should do this for your body, and you say okay, and then you have we haven't let ourselves have the privilege of taking responsibility for our lives, for our health, for what we think, what we do, and a general way of being. And it's time now. And for me, that light of BioTouch that brings that self-awareness, the sense that I can take responsibility, I am I am important here. I am safe and I trust myself, as you were saying, and there is hope in all of that. That I can make a difference in my own life. I don't have to scurry here and there.
Yeah.
I can be present, and that's the other thing that we talk about. In the light, you get to be present. So what is self-awareness? What do we say self-awareness is?
It always reminds me of that head of the trucker company that he was the head of the Teamster Union, and he was teaching classes. He was a teacher, and he gets to the point where he's got to talk about self-awareness, and his self-awareness was, I have absolutely no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Perfect, right?
You know, and so self-awareness that we're talking about is just seeing ourselves in relationship to our body and our surroundings, our other people.
Right.
You know, you just wake up to it. You don't have to change anything. You just wake up to, what are the interactions happening? How am I feeling in this situation?
Oh man, and I know I've talked to too many BioTouch practitioners. We have all in that self-awareness within ourselves, and just practicing BioTouch. My goodness, it's not just in that true relationship. It's not always the recipient that receives the benefits, you know. And in my growth of self-awareness, being a recipient and an associate or a practitioner, we call, amazing things about myself in relationship to not just those I work with, but in my life. It gives you this whole nother realm of, wow, I'm not here alone. I've always been connected. We talk about that as well. BioTouch is here to really help us formulate that community.
And so, you know, another way to look at this is we do have our research, and we wanted to remind us again. So here's our stress chart created by Dr. Kenneth Stevenson after doing some really intensive clinical research. And she found, if you're seeing it, if you're just hearing it on a podcast, there's this chart that shows all the stressors in our life, and we can call that the darkness.
Right.
You know, some of those things we can do something about, some of them we can. We have tobacco use, relationships, a lot of those you can't choose some of them. You're born into them, you know. You have social relationships, marital, family relationships, death of a loved one. You know, that you can't do anything. Yeah. And so then you have the environment. A lot of what we're working on now on the planet, you know, there's environmental problems. Diet, those are things you can choose. Drug prescription, non-prescription. Gene is a stressor. We carry on stressors in the darkness of generations past.
Absolutely.
You know, psychological stress, emotions, lifestyle, childhood trauma, a lot of those things when we were children we didn't have any choice over.
Yeah, you know? That's true. And they get pushed down into the darkness.
Into the darkness, yes. And then social economic status. All those is what Dr. Stevenson called activation of accelerated aging pathways, which creates chronic stress, the darkness.
Yeah.
The chronic stress, which if you keep on that road, turns into immune dysregulation, cortisol dysregulation, and then the diseases we get: dementia, cardiovascular disease, infections, tumors, mood disorders, obesity, which Dr. Stevenson is finding is on an uptick ever since the pandemic and the stressors and the darkness of those times.
Yes.
And so the whole long haul COVID is a big issue. And so what she shows here, if you can see the chart, if not, if you put BioTouch into that chronic stress cycle, bring the light into the darkness, you improve circadian patterns of cortisol release, which improves the quality of your life, and you increase interleukin-12, which improves your immune system response and increases activity of genes that fight infection and cancer and promote healthy aging.
Wow. I mean, when you just look at those two, just those two in our lives, you've just about summed it up. Because we know, even through this pandemic, that the immune system, and that's what stress attacks. All that darkness, it attacks our immune system, which leads to all, as Dr. Stevenson found in her research. So yeah, that's pretty powerful when you put BioTouch into that whole rhythm.
So we just encourage you, bring the light. This is not some far out philosophical, esoteric
Right.
idea here.
Yeah, no,
This is
it's
2 fingers touching another human being. And, if nothing else, you were talking about letting yourself. BioTouch in that light is letting yourself be loved, letting yourself be cared for.
right.
And we'll just show you the research with that one too, because that was an amazing chart. So here we had 4 centers. Amity, which was a drug rehab community. We had a center in California. We had one in Hawaii. We had one in Arizona. There's almost 900 recipients we worked with. And you can see that blue line shows us where feeling cared for was pre-session. And they were all below 6, between 5.5 to 6. After a session, I think the session was maybe 5 or 10 minutes, everyone in every location was at an 8.
Top of the chart.
Top of the chart of feeling cared for.
Yeah.
Imagine if that's the light that we can bring to humanity now, where people feel cared for.
That's an interesting thing, because in that event that I did in Tombstone, 2 weeks ago, that was just we just did like the head and the neck sets, right? Just to give them an idea if they wanted to experience it. But what the consensus is from everybody, and you've done it too, all of us, the first thing is, this is their bodies going, oh, thank you for loving me.
Yes.
Because it begins there, don't you think?
Yes.
It begins there. The light can come into that feeling separated, feeling alone, feeling unloved, feeling uncared for. And something this simple and this non-invasive has the power to bring that change just in 1 minute?
1 minute,
I
just
mean,
by
my
doing the greeting.
goodness.
And so we want to make sure you get at least another little set to practice. So we're going to show you here's another minute to do the stress set. And just doing that has incredible effect on people. So let's just show you that here. It'll just show you a minute. And
The stress set may be used to address any manifestation of physical, emotional, or mental stress, as well as anxiety and shingles. Hold at X, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone. It is the same as greeting point 1. Then with the other hand touch points 1 and 2, which are the same points as in the heart set. These points are found by imagining a line running from the notch at the top of the breastbone to a place on the left breast where the nipple would be on a youth. Divide this imaginary line into thirds. Point 1 is at the top of the first third. Point 2 is at the top of the second third. These points may be touched repeatedly, and remember to touch each point for at least 6 to 8 seconds.
There it is.
on this end, we can't hear what you're hearing over there. Just watching
it.
her do that
I know. It's like,
was this wow.
which is an amazing thing to become aware of. Just watching, and I've done this in here at the center in a session room, with maybe somebody going through our intern program, watching them do a set like the stress set on somebody else. I feel it.
Yes.
That's how deeply we're connected.
Yes.
I felt her.
Yes.
Every time.
It's interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I remember working once with a woman who was dying, and people were in the room and they were wailing and crying, and just by me going up and working with the woman who was dying, everyone in the room calmed down.
Just calm down.
Yes.
That's great.
So BioTouch really is bringing the light into our life, into our whole being. and our relationship with other people. So we really want you to learn how to do BioTouch.
I know, because every time we all do BioTouch with another, we're bringing the light ourselves.
Yes.
These 2 fingers.
So we just want to let you know we have a class coming up this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 Tucson time. Go to our website, justtouch.com, to sign up for it. It's only $48. You get the manual, ebook training manual. We go through every set of points if you're interested in learning the whole thing. If you only want to learn a particular few sets of points, we always have our health condition workshop on the 4th Thursday of the month. This one, which will be on the 25th, is with Tanya, who is a certified Ayurvedic practitioner in Tucson, Arizona. That's going to be the 25th on colitis.
Ooh.
And I have a feeling it's going to be very informative and a lot of fun. She's a very fun, as you can say, fiery redhead.
Yes, yes.
Whether it's real red or not, it's red.
It's red. That's a fact.
So we're looking forward to that. And, we're looking forward to working with you personally. I just got an email. I've gotten a few emails recently from people who have individual questions. We'll answer your question. We'll work with you. It's not something that you have to pay, to have somebody talk to you, or, we don't do cha-king, the timer's on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
We have lots of practitioners around the world who are willing to speak with you and talk to you about how to use BioTouch in your life. It doesn't really take a class.
No.
You can learn it on your own. Just download the manual yourself and teach yourself. We have the manual which takes you through the points and shows you a video of somebody doing it. So very easy to learn. So we have brought the light again. Let the light be upon us.
And then watch out. It will change.
This is our ministry, I guess.
Yes, yes.
So anyhow, we enjoy sharing BioTouch with you, and we're here every week on Mondays with Bev and Paul, and every once a month we have Bev with us personally. So,
in my month.
Yeah, so we'll see you all next week, and if you have anything you'd like us to address on the show, send us an email.
Please,
yeah,
we love
office@justtouch.com. So until next week, let me find the closing song.
Yes.
Take care.
Have a wonderful week.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. A healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action. I know you have heard these beautiful words. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Using BioTouch.